What exercises do we need to do to fill out our entire back, top to bottom, make it wide, get a V-taper, make it thick, give it that dense three-dimensional look, all at the same time? And quite frankly, I've said for many, many, many years, really there's only three things that you need, and you just need to get good at them. But I mean, we can do a little bit more. Things like rear delts. But I have said for a long time, my back has been built on rows, pull-ups, and deadlifts. Okay, and again, making a note with pull-ups and things, people love to argue with you about how to perform pull-ups for lats, and again, they miss the point. They don't understand the function of the lat. They don't realize why the pull-up is the best exercise for the lats, and they try to make it an exercise for everything else, to where they're trying to swing themselves, throw themselves up over the bar, and that's fine. Like, if you're going to be a calisthenics athlete, by all means, absolutely do that. If you were trying to use the pull-up to build a back as wide and V-tapered as mine, don't do that. It's just not necessary. All right. It really is about keeping your chest up, your feet behind you, and just working the scapula through their full range of motion. So notice even on pull-ups, I get a stretch at the bottom. I do from a dead hang. Right? We pull from a dead hang, and we come up until the scapula pinch together, and we don't try to rotate or swing or do anything else. And that is what you need to build your lats. Like, that is your lat builder. All right? That will actually probably build lats by itself. You don't even need anything else for the lats. Now, all of that said, we need to talk about horizontal pulling. So if we want to really kind of fill stuff out, this is where stuff like this horizontal pulling comes in. Rows, all types of rows, barbell rows, dumbbell rows. I mean, if you want to do machines or cables, fine. I've never gotten as much out of them. I think they can be fine for really high rep pump work, to where it may be harder to hold onto a dumbbell. But just for your big, heavy overall work, I mean, barbells and dumbbells are fine. They are more than adequate to get the job done. They've built many a top-level back. Okay? I'm here demonstrating seal rows as my example. All right? We have seal rows. I like seal rows because I'm currently doing, right now, a lot of standing stuff, a lot of deadlifting, a lot of squats. I just don't need the extra load on my back. I also do standing barbell presses on my shoulder day. So for me, I'm like, I just don't need the extra loading at the moment on my back from rows. But standing barbell rows have been a staple for me historically. But the seal rows, I really like these. I feel that for me, it really lets me isolate that middle and upper back. So that's where we start getting that extra thickness, right? That comes from the rows. And rows will build your lats, don't get me wrong. But they build your traps. They build your upper traps, your mid traps. They build rhomboids. They help with rear delts. Okay. They bring a lot to the table. They help you really kind of fill out that density and that thickness. Same thing with deadlifts. Deadlifts. Now, there's data showing deadlifts stimulate lats amazingly well. I feel my lats on deadlifts, but I've had a bigger deadlift than I currently do with smaller lats than I currently do before, when I wasn't pushing pull-ups to the same degree. But as far as the rest of your back goes, traps, erectors, okay, all of that stuff. Again, those muscles that add thickness, because again, pull-ups, because it's lats, it's going to make you wider. And people say, well, you can't train for width or whatever, but muscle versus thickness. Well, but we're not talking about individual muscles. We're talking about different muscles. Okay? Deadlift brings a lot to the table there. All right, something else that I've started doing more and more of in more recent years here, more rear delt work. And normally I've always said this isn't necessary. It's a finishing touch. It's a finishing touch. Because, I mean, rows literally work these same muscles. Okay? Think about it. But we also are then limited by grip, by biceps, stuff like that. All right, so the rear delt work here, again, if we're trying to get that finishing touch, that more polished look on just the top half, the upper back. All right, these work traps. They work the upper traps really well. They work the rear delts. They work the side delts. Again, if I were to say if we only did maybe one shoulder exercise, other than, possibly overhead pressing or whatever. I mean, I could lean in the direction of these, and I like laterals. But rear delt flies, again, if you're just trying to really polish out that upper back, because it works side delts really effectively too, okay, it's great for that. It's great for just giving that finishing touch from behind, because again, rear delts get neglected. Okay, hits the upper traps, hits all those things. All right, I can make a case for pullovers. I don't have any recent footage though in this. I'm about to start doing them again. Could we make a case for pullovers also for lats? Sure. I don't think they're necessary though. Again, one of those finishing touches. I mean, quite frankly, even the rear delts may not be necessary if you're doing enough rowing. But I train fairly low volume these days, really hard, really intense. And so therefore I do a fair amount of isolation just to fill in the little gaps here and there. Just how I train personally these days. But let's come back over and recap the big ones. Pull-ups. People say, I'm not strong enough for pull-ups. Okay, well, do lat pull-downs. Do fat pull-downs till you're strong enough and lean enough. All right? Or you could do reverse bands for assistance. I don't like the pull-up assist machines. I don't feel like they give a comfortable strength curve. They've always felt weird to me. Maybe they've improved in the decades. Never been a fan of them. I've always liked reverse bands, and there's different ways to do them, right? I think for reverse bands, the best way is running them across through the safety arms. Okay, not looping it under your foot and hanging it. Haven't seen the different methods. All right, so again, pull-ups will make you wide. Rows will give you that thickness. Again, will also help with the rear delts, the upper traps, middle, all that stuff. They'll build the traps, rhomboids, rear delts, in addition to helping fill the lats out a little bit more. And of course, deadlifts, because deadlifts just, again, they just build that density in the back, and there's a difference. They build erectors, they build traps. Again, so it's really, when you look at it, the pull-ups and the vertical pulling, that's what's going to really give you the V-taper, the width. The rows and the deadlifts are just going to fill out everything else. Again, if you want that, again, that extra dimension and depth to your back, those are what's going to get you there. Now, is it possible to even use just those to build a massive back? Yes, it is. And I've seen examples. I personally find that myself, and a lot of my lifters though, the pull-ups really do help the most with the width because of, again, the direct lat involvement. Again, building that whole outer edge of the lat, right? Putting that deep stretch into all of it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.